Well, Tesla's EV markdowns took a big toll on its profitability in the first quarter. The EV maker's gross profit margin dipped below 20% to its lowest reported since the end of 2020. So what do we learn from Tesla's latest earnings report? Let's break it down with Yahoo Finance's Pras Subramanian. Basically, we learned that it costs you margins if you keep cutting the prices of your cars.
Yeah, I think there's this, the bull and bear story now is the bears are saying, look at this, they destroyed their leading margins, they're cutting prices because their demand is slowing. This is what's happening. Yes, they're growing volumes, but it's coming at the expense of profits. On the flip side, you can say Tesla is saying that we're going to become more of a mature company here. We are going to actually use our advantage, our pricing and cost advantage to flood the market with our cars, gain market share. We'll take the hit on profitability, but in the long run, we can make it work because we can sell connected services, we can grow our energy business and all that other stuff. So I think that's the debate right now, but right now the bears are winning clearly today, and I think there's going to be a reckoning with what the company is going to be kind of viewed as going forward.
Yeah, and it seemed like the tone that they were striking on the call was that this was intentional. It was somewhat self-inflicted in order to really make sure that they're having this wave of demand generation that they're able to then cash in later on, keeping customers within that broader kind of ecosystem of Tesla products, if you will, if that sounds kind of on par with what you heard on the call.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the earnings call was quite not somber, but just very kind of sober in some sense, right? Very no fireworks, no dramatics. This is the story here. But I think there's I think some of Wall Street or investors are not really buying the story. They're saying, hey, we think you have a serious demand problem, and that's why you're cutting twice this month. I mean, that's not going to be reflected in this earnings, but it's just something to keep an eye on. And they hinted that there's more to come. So I feel like buyers, are you going to wait to buy? Why not, right?
And the other thing is, even though Tesla can control what it can do on pricing, it has less control over what happens with costs, and its costs are going up. Now, on the call, they talked about over the longer term cost moderating, particularly for things like lithium. But there is, as always, a credibility question, I think, when it comes to Tesla. Elon Musk has said things in the past that haven't come to pass, or at least on the timeline. Witness the Cybertruck, which is supposed to finally come out this year,
it's right? It's going to be a Hall of Fame product, according to Elon Musk.
Sure it will. But, I think that credibility kind of, in some ways, also gets to the core of investor questions about this company.
Yeah. The overly kind of bullish kind of tone of we can do this, we can do that. Cybertruck's going to be here at the end of Q3. That's what they're planning to do, right? We'll see when they hit that deadline. But back to the kind of the commodity stuff, Brad, I mean, how many times are they talking about the storms of the economy, right? The economic storms, some of the weather forecasting, kind of sort of hedging his sort of, this is my call, but this all depends on external factors being okay, no economic kind of booms or busts. So he was couching it in those terms, but he said long run, yes, lithium, we're going to build a refinery down in Texas. That's going to bring our prices down a lot. But you can't predict these things. But I think you're right. The big picture, he's always talking about. You know what he said today, or said yesterday? He said that he expects, and he said it with a laugh, that full self-driving will be fully autonomous by the end of this year. He said it with a laugh. Even he knew. Yeah. That it was a very, very long stretch.
Well, according to them, full self-driving beta has hit about 150 million miles as of this point in time in beta. You mentioned Cybertruck and him talking about that being a Hall of Fame product. Well, right now it's a backyard all-star for Tesla, just in testing phases at this point. And then they also talked about stationary storage growth, significantly exceeding vehicle growth in the future. That was one of the bright spots in the report in terms of growth, but still makes up just a small portion of their overall revenue base. Yahoo Finance's own Pras Subramanian. Thanks so much, Pras.